For over 100 years, the National Capital Band of the Salvation Army has been proclaiming the gospel of Jesus Christ, as well as supporting the mission of the Salvation Army in Washington, D.C., across the nation and around the world. Unlike most divisional bands, which rehearse once a month and perform only occasionally, the NCB has always rehearsed weekly on Monday evenings and performed at least once a month. This has enabled the band to compile a record of service unequaled by any divisional band in the Salvation Army. In a typical year, the band will have more than 25 rehearsals and perform at more than 20 concerts and events. The band was formed in 1925 as the Washington Headquarters Band at the direction of Staff Captain Ernest Holtz, commander of the headquarters. It was renamed the Washington Division Band when that division was formed in 1928 and was also known as the Washington Staff Band, the National Capital Division Band, and the National Capital Area Band before becoming the National Capital Band in the 1980s. The NCB has served as the divisional band of 5 different divisions since its founding and currently serves the Potomac Division. Like nearly all Salvation Army bands at the time, the band was all male at its founding, but this would soon change to include women and minority members. In fact, it is likely that the NCB was the only racially integrated band in the Southern Territory until the 1960s. The first African American officer commissioned in the Southern Territory, Major Eddie Smith, was a member of the band as a young man, and his father, Maurice, and uncle, Victor, were members as far back as the 1930s. For the first 34 years of its existence, the band was led by Salvation Army officers, all of which were among the musical founding fathers of the USA Southern Territory. The NCB's first bandmaster was Captain Walter Needham. Future leaders would include Albert Baldwin, Walter Swires, Leslie Hall, John Needham, Albert Osborne, Ernest W. Holtz, and William R.H. Goodyear. All these officers would go on to become senior leaders in the Salvation Army, and 2 of them, John Needham and Ernest W. Holtz, would become national commanders of the Salvation Army in the United States. Another important leader in the first decades of the band's history was Eric Lightson, who was appointed band instructor in 1926. An internationally known composer, arranger, and conductor of both Salvation Army and professional ensembles, Lightson would travel from New York City every other week by packet boat to lead the band's rehearsals, and he also led the band's first tours outside of the Washington, D.C. area. His association with the band continued into the 1950s. Beginning with the appointment of bandmaster Charles Schultz in 1959, the band has been led by non-officer Salvationists. These leaders include Campbell Robinson, Stephen Bulla, Lars Otto Youngholm, Ian Anderson, Duncan Sutton, John Jones, James Anderson, and Dr. Steve Kellner, the present bandmaster. In addition to performing at local and divisional events, the NCB has toured extensively in the U.S. and conducted international campaigns in Jamaica, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, France, Switzerland, and Brazil. After the fall of the Soviet Union, the band was chosen in 1994 by General Eva Burrows to help reopen the Army's work in Russia, Ukraine, and Estonia. The NCB has produced 11 recordings, beginning with Golden Daybreak in 1977, and most recently, A Musical Offering in 2014, as well as producing the first compact disc recording by a Salvation Army band, Songs of the States, in 1988. It has also premiered many published Army pieces, written by the many Salvationist composers who were members of the band. Today, the National Capital Band continues the tradition of service to God and the Army. All the men and women of the band openly express gratitude to God and stand amazed at all He has done through the ministry of this ensemble. Reflecting on the rich musical and spiritual heritage of its first 100 years, the band looks forward to another century of service, and its members commit themselves anew to the words of this verse from 2 Corinthians. We are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making His appeal through us. We implore you on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God.